on, we are going to talk about the future of education. We are Natalia Melo, Daniela Parada, and Karina Martinez. First, we would like to answer the question about what do you think education will look like in 30 to 50 years? We consider that education will be technologically advanced, and we also believe that technology will become an essential resource not only for education, but also for business, economics, and more. However, we also consider that technology will not be the center of education because it is also important to take into consideration that there are a lot of abilities and skills that cannot be implemented or fomented through technology, such as empathy, tolerance, ethical, moral, analytical, and critical reasoning. That's why we consider that even though education will have a lot of technological advances, there will be still a humanistic aspect that will be fomented on a futuristic education.
Of education from the future will be a little bit different from the purposes of education nowadays, since it would be focused on engaging children into their own learning. In order to do this, children really need to feel motivated to learn and feel like a passion for learning. And to do this, the education system, the teachers, and even the setup of the classrooms should be centered on the necessities of the student. Um, Additionally, education should encourage self growth and self transformation, since these are abilities that are really important for life. And to do so, the educational environment should be safe uh, for the student to make mistakes and reinvent himself or herself. Finally, education should be holistic and not only take into consideration the intellectual part of the human being, but also take into consideration the moral and ethical aspects, and also develop some essential life skills in the students, such as communication, stress management, emotional management, empathy, critical thinking, among others, that will be useful for the student to build himself as a complete and as a holistic human being. The assessment and evaluation, we would base this part of education on the philosophical ideas of Dewey, who proposed that the main purpose of assessment should be to help students achieve new and higher levels of habits of thinking and of doing. In order to do this, assessment should really be focused on the progress of the student rather than on his or her development on a specific task. In this way, students won't be graded with a numerical grade, but rather with levels of achievement depending on the step of the process in which they are. And the most important part of assessment will be feedback. Um, Assessment will be individualized instead of standardized, since the process of each student is different. And in this way, the teachers should really know their students to give them valuable feedback and to really know what has been the process over a certain period of time. Finally, observation is key, since the teacher needs to take a step back and observe how the student has progressed instead of judging this progress. So we believe there will be three main key drivers of this change in education, starting by technology, which, as it is advancing really fast, it will be a really important tool and a really useful tool for education of the future. It won't be the center of education because, as said before, the student will be the center of education, and the teacher will also be a really important aspect of education, since um, he or she would help the student progress. Technology would be used as a tool and as an aid for education in the future. Regarding social change and ethics, this will be essential since they would create the environment under which education will take place. Therefore, they will like drive education according to the social changes that will occur in the future. Um, in regards to environment and nature, the human being won't be seen as separate from nature, but as education, it will be seen as an interconnected system, and therefore, in order to create this change in mindset, education needs to change as well into this direction.
Learning environment for us need to be interactive and aesthetic. We want to promote organized environments according to the age of children and colorful because first the organization helps the children to maintain their space clean and organized. In addition, we look for a space with contact to the outside as proposed by Rousseau. Children should develop together in nature and we want them to learn from it. Children need to discover because that environment can promote a natural course for the development of children's. The emergency of children's the social skills and the contact with nature is essential in our education. First, we want the children to have a chance to choose why they would like to learn. And in the first years, they can learn through the senses. Additionally, as Montessori proposed, the learning of children at this age can be self-taught, and this helps to feel motivated by their learning. Thus, each activity will promote the agency of children and with this be able to form the autonomy of a child. And we need to consider learning style of a child because this promotes following a rhythm and fitting diversity of methods. In subsequent years, the subjects should promote dynamic and practical learning that make the children learn by doing. For example, in mathematical teaching research that will allow them to have visual elements. In addition, these types of learning should promote social, language, and English. And we need teach ethics or well-being strategies for well-being in life. We want the children to learn about how to act in community through practical activities that they're morally aware and can respect others from that contact with the real life. For example, if you promote a group activity, they will understand that to achieve the goal we must cooperate and respect others in process. And in addition to this learning in contact with nature, care and appreciation of this is developed as a consequence. They will learn what it means to take care of their environment, becoming responsible for it. Arts and creativity is important too this can promote sensibility and their ability to be careful and patient because the process is relative and to a constant and discipline. And finally, encourage the practice of sport is important because this helps to follow rules and create habits. They socialize, can improve, and also increase the physical and motor skills. Related to teaching and learning is important as also proposed. Observe childhood to know his needs and his abilities for improve. That is What the result considers most important. Additionally, children need some freedom to develop learning. And Montessori proposed another important aspect that the teacher is again who works to monitor the student. However, the relationship between a student and the teacher is horizontal. This means that knowledge is transmitted both from teacher to student and from the student to teacher. Finally, we want to promote learning that helps to develop autonomy in which they can be audience and learning is guided by their learning space.
With the credentials, we consider that this new type of futuristic education will include credentials as the current education because we consider that credentials are a useful resource that demonstrates the knowledge and skills of an individual and also works as a motivation for individuals because it stimulates people to finish their academic studies in order to achieve a credential that certifies their knowledge and skills. Related with the business models, we consider that students, teachers, and other administrative and services employees need to attend to school because even though technology may be a very important tool in the future, virtual learning will be an option, but face-to-face learning will still be present in society. Firstly, people are social individuals that need to interact with other people besides their family members. This kind of social interaction stimulates a social behavior that will favor students develop useful social skills that are required for life. Additionally, in the face-to-face experiences students may have with their teachers and peers, it will allow them to learn to coexist and tolerate people. Finally, related with who found this new model of education, we believe that there will still exist Catholic and foreign founders that help schools. However, we believe that these founders will not impose an homogeneous learning system because we truly believe that in the future, the student will be the center of education instead of the professors.